Good morning. Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about ratio analysis under BDA. And most of the time when they're sharing or they're asking this question on ratio analysis, they literally do not bring it as an entirely a question on its own, but rather they can figure out and bring something like forecasting and ratio, dashboard and ratio, scenario analysis or sensitivity analysis and ratio. So that is the reason we just have to have the understanding of what ratio analysis is. So even as we go into just discussing what ratio analysis is, allow me to share my screen. Okay. So ratio analysis is a technique used to evaluate and interpret the financial statement of a company. It involves calculating various ratios that provide insight into the financial health, performance, efficiency of the organization. And maybe this is so relatable to us accountants and auditors. Most of the time when you're presenting the financial statement to the board, or to the AGM, for you to have the understanding of what has happened between last year and this year, or if you're comparing what happened between the 3 years or 4 years, you will be asked, or you will assume to use ratios for you to be able to present the right thing and also give the right assumptions. Yes, so that is what ratio is, and it is more of computed by comparing different financial statements and such as income statement and balance sheet. So we are going to start with liquidity ratio. So under liquidity ratio, it is the ability of the organization to meet short-term obligation. Yeah, so and also to measure its liquidity position. Liquidity means cash in hand, or the money that you can touch. Yeah, so it is just ability for the organization to meet their short-term obligation, like paying rent, like taking care of their daily operations of the organization with the cash they have at hand or the cash they can touch. So under the liquidity, the current ratio under the liquidity ratio, we have 3 ratios that we calculate. We have the current ratio, we have the quick ratio, and we have the cash ratio. So under the current ratio, it is being calculated by the current asset divided by the current liability. And we'll go here and try to calculate the current ratio and the current liability. So here it is how we do it. Maybe we can read this question. You have been provided with the following statement from Dogo Limited, or the period between 2015 to 2018. Dogo Limited statement of financial position. Then we have the assets, total current assets. Okay, then we have liabilities, we have current liabilities, and okay. And here we have the income statement. Here is the balance sheet. Okay, so we will go to start with the current ratio, and we say that the current ratio is the money that you can touch, or the liquidity money that can meet the current obligation of the organization. And this is how we calculate it. Is the current, we said it is the current asset divided by the current liability. So under current assets, so come here, total current assets. So we have here current asset, then we divide by current liabilities. Don't worry, I'll be able to attach the documents in my video on YouTube so that you can be able to access it. So we have the current asset divided by the current liabilities. Where is the current liabilities? Other current, total current liabilities. Yeah, we can work with that one. Okay, so that is the current ratio. It is the current liability, current asset divided by the current liabilities. Number 2, we are going to talk about, we have the quick ratio. The quick ratio is more, it measures the liquidity as it excludes inventory from converting into cash to meet the current liability. So what it means, it is current asset. Then we eliminate inventory, weigh whether we can still be able to meet the obligations minus the stock or the inventories that we have minus current liability. So it is current asset, we minus the inventory, then we divide by the current current liability. So under that one, here it is, let's go to calculations. So we said is equal to, so under current quick ratio, we are measuring the ability of the organization to meet its short-term obligations minus the stock that we have, the only cash that is in. So it is entirely the current assets that we have minus the stock to evaluate whether the organization or our organization will be able to meet its obligation of paying the current debts that we have or short-term debts that we have. So it's equal to, into brackets, then we come here, we say we had current ratio minus inventory. Then we divide by the current liability with the total current liabilities. Even the first one was total current assets divided by total current liabilities. The quick ratio is total current asset minus inventory divided by total current liability. Okay, so what do you call it here? Okay, so this is what we have done. Then when we go here, it is the same. It is going to the next year. This is going to the next year. It is going to the next year. So here we have, I am sure that when they bring anything to do with current liquidity ratio, will be smart to handle. So we come here and we calculate the, what do you call it? The cash ratio. So on the cash ratio, okay, maybe before we continue on the quick ratio, maybe what I can say, it is provide a more conservative assessment of liquidity, as inventory is often least liquid current asset. We have stock, as in stock is most of the time. The reason why we are eliminating stock from the current asset that we have is because most of the time for us to convert, it is not that quick to convert the stock that we have to current, to liquidity money to be able to meet the obligation. So that is why we are measuring on how the organization can go about it minus stock to meet its obligation. So a higher quick ratio suggests a stronger ability to cover short-term obligation without relying on inventory sale. I hope we are getting it. A higher quick ratio suggests a stronger ability to convert a short-term obligation without relying on the inventory sales. Then now we can proceed to cash ratio. On the cash ratio is the most conservative liquidity ratio, as it is considered only cash and cash equivalent in relation to current liabilities. It measures the company's ability to pay off short-term obligations. So this one, it only focuses on cash, only cash, nothing else. No stock, nothing else. So here it is just cash, the money we have. So we have into cash and cash equivalent divide by into brackets divide by current liability. Okay, so we'll come here and on cash ratio to be equal to, we said it is only focuses on cash. So we go to the total, what do you call it, to total current asset, then we focus only on cash. We have cash and marketable. We will focus on this one. Then we divide by the total current liability, guys. Total current liabilities. Okay. So we have cash and this is it. So on this cash and cash ratio, the cash ratio provide an insight into the company liquidity in the absence of the current asset. A higher cash ratio indicates a stronger ability to meet a short-term obligation. The higher, like in these years, we have 2020, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. We have a higher ratio of in the year 2018. So it implies that for an organization to have a higher ratio in terms of the cash current ratio, it implies that the organization is able to meet its current or short-term obligation without focusing on the current liabilities or the inventories, the current assets. Sorry for that. It is the current asset and the inventory. So yeah, that is under the liquidity ratio. And maybe something that I can just mention on the liquidity ratio is most of the time you focus on the current asset. You go to the current asset and current liabilities. Focus on current asset and current liabilities. Most of the time they might ask you that calculate, what do you call it? They just mentioned calculate the liquidity ratio. Please always remember that it is the current asset, current liabilities, current cash ratio. And it is only focuses on the current asset and the current liabilities. So guys, thank you so much. We will continue tomorrow on solvency ratio so that we can also understand on how to calculate and be able to interpret. So yeah, I appreciate your time. Have a good day. Thank you.